Welcome to EYE on Sci-Fi podcast. Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 220 of EYE on Sci-Fi podcast, the podcast where we share with you terrific indie science fiction and fantasy online short films, web series, and other closely related media. We also, on occasion, have conversations with the talented and interesting creators who are producing outstanding indie speculative work. Thank you for joining me. The superhero stories that really intrigue me are the ones that deal with everyday people who one day suddenly discover that they have acquired superhuman abilities. So some of my favorite television shows are The 4400, Heroes, and most recently on Netflix, Supercell, which is about five Black South Londoners who one day each discover that they have superpowers. What I love about these shows is that unlike in stories by Marvel Comics and DC Comics, where people discover that they have superpowers and either they A, become supervillains and go out and commit various crimes and try to take over the world, or B, they put on either a uniform, spandex, or some type of armor and they go off and they fight crime. Well, if we went to bed tonight and woke up tomorrow morning and discovered that we were superhuman, most of us wouldn't do that. And that's what I like about shows like Heroes and, again, Supercell, because it depicts people who have real lives and real struggles. They are trying to navigate their relationships, earn a living, and pursue their dreams. And when these individuals wake up and discover that they have superpowers, some think that they are a burden and want to get rid of them. Others want to find out how it happened and who is responsible, while others seek to profit from them for their personal gain. And then others will just try to integrate them into their everyday lives. And I think that that is very close to reality. And watching stories like that, to me, is a lot more engaging and a lot more interesting. So there is a short film I'm going to share with you that is called Genesis by director C.J. Johnson. And Genesis is set in an alternate reality in which people called Genesis subjects have begun to develop superhuman powers. However, these individuals are not celebrated. They are feared, especially by the governments of the world. And there are agents called hunters who are tasked with tracking down Genesis subjects. Now, in the United States, there is a bill that is being considered in Congress that will require that Genesis subjects register and be placed into quote unquote safe houses. And actually, that is just a gentrified word for concentration camps. In this particular short film, a hunter who remains unnamed confronts a close friend of his who is a Genesis subject. And they have a philosophical debate about the morality of what is happening across the world, and especially in the United States, with this proposed bill that will require Genesis subjects to register and be rounded up. The conversation unfortunately results in a conflict, and the hunter has to make a decision about whether he is going to let his friend go or bring him in. And in the resulting conflict, there is a secret that is revealed about the hunter himself. Even though this short film was produced 11 years ago, it still remains very timely and very relevant. And that is an unfortunate thing, but it also shows the power of well-written and well-conceived speculative media. and Genesis definitely falls into that category. Of course, I will place a link in the show notes of this episode where you can watch Genesis. It is a very provocative short film that I highly recommend. Also, make sure to check out while you're in the show notes the link tree where you can watch all of the other terrific independent science fiction and fantasy content that we have curated at our site, the7thmatrix.com. I also encourage you to sign up for our brand new newsletter. Now, I call it a micro newsletter, and that is because Monday through Friday, each day you will receive one and only one speculative news item that we think that you will enjoy. So it can be a television series, film, or book recommendation or review, a podcast episode, either Eye on Sci-Fi or other podcasts about science fiction and fantasy, and more. And it is free to sign up, and you will also receive a free gift from us for supporting us in this way and becoming a subscriber. I also need you to visit our support section because without the kind and generous support of listeners like you, we would not be able to do the work that we do here at Eye on Sci-Fi Podcast and over at the7thmatrix.com, and we really do appreciate that. Also, leave us a review and rating wherever you get your podcasts, because that really does help others find us, and we appreciate that a great deal too. Okay, that's it for this episode, everyone. And again, thank you so much for joining me. And until next time, remember, take a break, escape the mundane, and enter the fantastic. Take care.